So many excited and motivated teachers are getting started on Outschool and they're ready to build a successful online teaching business. However, so many of them are missing these key marketing techniques which could truly keep them from being successful on the platform. So today I'll share the biggest mistakes that online teachers make as they get started on Outschool with some tips for Outschool teachers. Make sure to stay until the end where I will share what I think is truly the biggest mistake that I see most often in new Outschool teachers. Hi there, my name is Katie Geddes and I'm an online music studio owner and teacher coach. Make sure to hit subscribe so you don't miss any of my future videos. One of the biggest mistakes that I see online teachers make as they get started on Outschool is not making enough classes. I have seen so many amazing, incredible teachers get onto the platform. They create one class, they make it beautiful, they list it, they don't get any enrollments, and then they give up. But remember, being profitable on Outschool is a combination of teaching what you love, yes, and what you want to teach, but also you have to figure out what people need. What do these parents, these students want from you and from your classes? So you cannot really see that just from one class, right? You really have to put yourself out there, let that perfectionism take a back seat, because I totally understand you want to put your all into every single class that you create. But the reality is that you really just have to put things out there and see what sticks. This is actually a great way of actually doing something called market research too, because if you put all of these classes out there, you see which classes get the most saves, which classes get the most enrollments and schedule requests, messages from parents. Then once you know what they want from you, you can start to build real programs around those key classes. This is exactly how I built my Outschool business. I didn't just sit down one day and create my entire class suite and now that's exactly what I teach. No, I created classes in a bunch of different areas of my niche, listed them all, saw which ones were the most popular, and then I continued to build classes in that topic. I talk more about this in one of my other YouTube videos, which is my best tips for new Outschool teachers who are getting started on the Outschool platform. Make sure to check that one out after this video. Okay. Another mistake that I see new Outschool teachers making as they get started on the Outschool platform is not trying out enough types of classes. So yes, of course, I said you have to create a bunch of different classes, but you should also try those classes in different formats. So you can make one class a one-time class, but you could also make something similar, if not the same, in an ongoing class format, in a multi-day class format, or try it out for a different age range, or try it out for a different length of time. I know it might seem weird, but sometimes with your classes, they're going to do better with a different format. For example, with my GarageBand classes, I made those as a multi-day and those sold incredibly well. And I thought, well, if people like this in a multi-day format, they'll also like it in a one-time format. So I made a bunch of one-time GarageBand classes as well, but they didn't book nearly as well. I didn't get as many enrollments in the one-times. It was the multi-day that did the best. So that particular example is not necessarily true in all situations. I find that one-time classes can be really helpful for, low commitment, gaining new students you've never worked with before, but it might actually happen that a multi-day could do better. Or for example, I wanted to sell my private lessons in a multi-day format where they're committed to maybe 8 lessons at a time, but that did not sell well at all. My private lessons only did well when they were in an ongoing format. So just kind of trying things out and sampling the different types of classes in addition to creating a bunch of different classes can be a great way to experiment in your Outschool business and to see not only the class topics that do the best, but also in what format they do the best in as well. What type of classes typically have worked best for you, or what have you experimented with so far? Let me know in the comments below. All right, and the absolute biggest mistake that I see online teachers make as they get started on Outschool, and I know you probably heard somebody say this before, but it is not niching down. So before you roll your eyes and say, oh, I've heard so many experts say this, niching down, let me just say, this is the most common mistake that I see in new Outschool teachers. Sure, maybe they've heard it before to niche down, but are people actually implementing that? Are people really sticking to a certain topic or subject matter in their platform? I really, really often do not see teachers doing that. Usually when I take a look at a struggling Outschool teacher and I maybe audit their profile, give them some tips, that tip is always the first on my list. It is so common that I see teachers creating classes in different niches, which I highly, highly advise against doing. I really, really recommend pick one category on the Outschool platform. So for example, for me, I picked the music category, right? And then within that category, niche down even further. If you are struggling at the beginning of your Outschool journey, really think about, have I niched down enough? Look at your classes that you're creating and really think about, are they all really within the same subcategory, right? Niching down is so important because it helps set you up as an authority figure or as an expert in that niche. So for example, if there is a parent who is looking for a class for their kid, let's say they want to take piano lessons, they're not going to go look for a teacher who teaches piano and baking and science, right? They want someone who has knowledge specific to what they are wanting their student to learn. They want the best for their kid, right? So they're going to look for someone who is really specialized in that topic. So this is really helpful though, because in the future, if you ever want to make more classes that are outside of that really sub niche, you could, but starting with that really specific niche is going to help you gain students within that subcategory. And then you're going to gain more reviews, you're going to gain more experience on the platform, and that will make it easier to gain enrollments in the future, no matter the class. So I encourage you, if you think you've niched down, even just take a second, reassess, look at your classes. How are you branding yourself? What is your messaging like in your profile? Is it geared specifically to that niche? Because if not, you should reassess and you could add that in. So if you're interested in knowing more about niching down, I actually have an entire workshop that's free, that's linked below if you want to check that out. It's called Your First 10K Month, How to Find Your Purposeful and Profitable Online Teaching Niche. All right, so at this point, you have heard my 3 biggest mistakes that I see online teachers make as they get started on Outschool, which were not creating enough classes, not trying out different class types, and also not niching down. Hopefully this is helpful to you and you can take a look at your Outschool business, think if you are implementing these things into yours. If this video was helpful for you, then please make sure to give it a thumbs up and hit subscribe below. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.